Since you guys voted on this video, I am going to do it. Which countries are at the top of certain charts or certain polls? And for some of those polls, we actually have the bottoms of them as well. Let's start with categories that you do not want to hear your country. And I'm not saying as if it's kind of like an opinions based thing that these are bad. These are really, really bad, you know, things to be top of. How bad? Well, the first one is literally called the worst country. And by HDI, that is the Central African Republic. Next up is the most politically unstable. And, well, as we could probably imagine, it's Somalia. With an ongoing civil war for 32 years now, it's not looking like it's going to end anytime soon. Next up, we move to the least free country. And with the score of 3.79, so the closer you are to zero, the worse you are, is Syria. With an also ongoing civil war for quite some time now, it also, even more than Somalia, doesn't look like it's going to stop. Syria also has one of the largest amounts of people trying to flee the country as best they can. Let's now move on to the most undemocratic country, which, as a recent poll suggests, is the fairly authoritarian country of Afghanistan. Ever since the United States left in 2021, Afghanistan has gone right in a downward spiral, as most people know. A recent poll suggests that most of my viewers are from the United States, so I bet you that most of you really don't want to hear that you guys have committed the most war crimes. I wasn't that shocked to figure it out. I mean, you guys dropped two nukes. Two nukes in the span of 3 days. I wasn't really that shocked to find that out. Although Germany, Japan, and Russia are second, third, and fourth. Ever since Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022, inflation has soared. And most people would say that the most inflated country is their country. And you would be wrong. Unless you are from Zimbabwe. Then you are right, unfortunately for you, because you guys have almost over 100% inflation rate. How bad is it, you don't know? Well, one loaf of bread at one point costed 1 trillion US dollars. Absolute madness. Next, we'll move on to the most racist country. And it's a country that calls my country a safe haven for terrorists. India. Take that as you will. Every second that goes by, we're 1 second closer to being in a grave. And for the population of Italy, they're the closest to being in a grave, having the oldest population. Before we go on to the part where everyone should be happy to see their country at number one, we'll go on to the country with the most immigrants because I don't know how people would take that. And well, that country is the United States. Now for the good ones. Let's talk about the gayest country. I put out a poll on what was the gayest country, and most of you got it right. The answer is Brazil, with 15% of its population identifying as homosexual. Switzerland has been labeled as the best country, and I agree. But it's also the most free country. So basically the most democratic, but also not the most democratic. It's the most free. So sorry, Americans, you're not the land of the free. Switzerland should copyright you guys. A recent study suggests that the most politically stable country is Sweden, and the most democratic is Norway. Hey, Swedes and Norwegians, can you back me up on that? Isn't it ironic that the least racist country used to own the most racist country, which is India? The least racist country being the United Kingdom. I was actually kind of surprised to hear that out. I mean, I wasn't surprised that India is the most racist, but for the United Kingdom as the least racist caught me as a bit of a shock. And for our final country, we're talking about the youngest population, in contrary to Italy's oldest population. In contrary to that, is Niger's population of an average of, get this, 15. If you think that's kind of a high average age, well, A, it's not. But B, that means that most of the population is between the ages of 3 and 25. That's kind of not that good.